Internet. I have to admit, I've made some pretty crooked deals to accomplish my goals. After all, I released several convicts myself just to start up this humble little podcast. I know I may not deserve it, but the world needs the After Credits cast, and if you go to patreon.com/evacstation, you can help keep this weird show going. For less than the cost of unprotected sex with Harley Quinn, you can help hire us a new crew of crime lords to bring down our rivals over at the Wisecrack channel and at Filmhouse. Again, that's patreon.com/evacstation, and make sure you wrap it up because that gets nasty. Just letting you know now.
Don't stick your dick in crazy, no matter how good it looks.
Oh God.
That I'm going too old. Confused what I thought was something I felt. Confused what I feel was something that's real. I tried to sell my soul last night. Funny, he wouldn't even take a bite.
We had some really bad neck problems the other day, but you know what? We just applied 1,000 volts of electricity to our noggins, and now everything is bright as Spain. Welcome to the After Credits cast, the only movie podcast to suffer through drain damage, and we're still going on.
Oh, bright as Spain, that was really good. That was really clever. I'm sorry.
We are Captain Boomer Ryan. And I am Aaron Waller. I didn't have a better name for me this week, unfortunately.
I'm so joyed by that joke that I don't even care about being associated with Captain Boomerang. It was just really funny.
I had some fun trying to figure out what silly, weird words I'd use in here for the brain damage bit, and I like it. I think it worked really good.
Everything is bright as Spain. I'm like, oh, I see you. I see you, sir. I love wordplay. Well done.
Wordplay and puns are my bread and butter, man. Speaking of which, I'm hungry. Where's my bread and butter? So welcome to the After Credits cast. If you want to follow us on social media, there is fucking Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. They're all the sites. Facebook, Twitter, and the other one, Tumblr. That's it. Man, that electricity really fried my brain. Jesus Christ. We're also on multiple platforms for your listening pleasure. We're also on YouTube, Peepa, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Podcast Addict. If you're listening on one of those and you want to go to the other one, hey, go check it out. We're everywhere. And ratings help us get more visible to other listeners who have not heard of us yet. So 5 stars everywhere. Make it great. Make it rain stars everywhere. Ryan, welcome to the show. And we usually do a What You Watching bit at the beginning, but for every other episode this season of DC, we've been doing a question of the week. So are you ready for your question of the week?
Indeed, sir. Hit me.
Well, this is actually going to be very topical for us, but for those listening, it'll be a month or two old. As of the time of recording, there has been a flurry of news regarding the new Batman movie coming out in 2021. And it's been said that Ben Affleck has now officially stepped down from the role of Batman.
Yep.
Matt Reeves, who I'm excited to see direct this movie, has also said the new movie is going to be very detective-focused and very focused on, like, the core elements of Batman's detective years. And,
shit! Okay,
I'm excited for
finally.
That sounds really good. He also listed several books for inspiration for the movie. One of them included Under the Red Hood. I don't know if that means we'll see Jason Todd, but we won't not see Jason Todd, so who knows?
Oh, God.
So I'm excited for all that. With that in mind, Ryan, what is your dream casting for Batman? Or if you have other suggestions for other characters, lay them on me. What other characters do we have that you could cast for Batman? I would like to kick things off because I have been thinking of this one for a little bit.
Go ahead, man, please.
I don't have a Batman in mind per se. But I do have a Joker in mind. And I know we already have a Joker. Shut up, everybody. I know we have, 2 Jokers. I don't care. Neither of them are as good as playing a crazy man as my boy Nick Cage.
Oh my God, sir!
Think about it. Ryan, you have seen Face Off. Castor Troy is basically Joker. You just put the face paint on him, and he is there. And that is a perfect Joker right there.
He even had an on-screen thing where he was fucking with the skin on his face. I mean, yeah, you're correct. You're not wrong.
The only problem I could see is Nick Cage is a very interesting actor to work with. I'm not saying difficult, because I think the right directors can definitely rope him in, but he can be interesting to work with all the same. I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about him on Vampire's Kiss, and he had all these weird ideas for what to do with the character, and the director had to kept giving him reasons why he couldn't do it, and then all he could say was, yeah, no, that makes sense, and then he would just go off and not do that. But then he would try doing something else weird, and the director had to rope him in again, and it's like, fucking Nick Cage, can you sit down for 5 minutes?
Oh my god. Okay, so in terms of dream Batman, that's rough. It would be interesting. I'd say I've heard some rumblings about Robert Pattinson. And
I'm on the fence about that one.
So hear me out, because I did just watch all 5 fucking Twilight movies. Thank you, Allegra.
How are you alive? How are you alive?
Because we took breaks in the midst of them so I could rage. But it's why I'm still breathing. But suffice it to say, I think as Robert Pattinson grew, I think he actually developed some pretty good acting chops. The movies themselves are shit, but actually watching Robert Pattinson act, I think his skill has improved. I think that even adding some more years to him, I've seen recent pictures of him, I think he would work as a younger bent Bruce Wayne. And whether or not he could buff up a little bit and look good in the suit and look good moving around in the suit would remain to be seen. But I think he would look as a really good younger Bruce Wayne. Counterpoint, if we're going an older Bruce Wayne still, I would take a look at my boy Jake Gyllenhaal, actually. With the bangs and the stubble that we just saw him sport as Mysterio, hell, with a different haircut, I could see it.
The problem with Jake Gyllenhaal is I think Marvel does have some kind of clause where you can't be doing the DC movies and the Marvel movies at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true, but I think it is.
That would be prudent. That's fair.
I'm going to counter your argument, Ryan. Robert Pattinson, I would give him a chance. I'm not going to say I'm on board, but I would give him a chance.
Right.
We've seen our actors pull off some weird stuff and actually do pretty good. People didn't like Robert Downey Jr. when he was Iron Man at first, and then when they saw him on screen, they're like, "Oh fuck, he is Iron Man. He's perfect."
Oh shit, he actually is Iron Man. Oh god.
So we have to consider that as a possibility with Robert Pattinson. However, there was someone in consideration for the role of Batman years ago when they were first trying to get the Justice League off the ground. And
I swear to God, if you say Nick Cage again.
No, that was Superman. Calm down. And not only was this man in consideration for Batman before, he's the same age as Robert Pattinson. I had to look it up to make sure, and I'm surprised at the same age. Armie Hammer. He could do it.
Okay. I feel like Armie Hammer is too clean cut. I think no. I think he's got the build for it. That dude is tall and swole. No lie, he would look good in the suit, especially if they were going for a super buff Batman. I think he could pull it, but I think he's a little too square-jawed, white bread.
How can you be too square-jawed? It's Batman. His jaw is a fucking rectangle.
Nah. Batman's got a little more, got the stubble. He's got the I don't know. I just feel like Armie Hammer might be too clean cut. I might give him a shot. I might give him a shot and see what he would look like, but I don't know. I'd be a little iffy on that one.
I'm looking at the actor real quick.
Here's the thing. He's not brooding enough. That's what I'll say. I don't think he can pull the brooding look.
Hang on, so I'm looking up another actor to see how old he is and see if he would fit in the role. Oh no, he's too old. I wouldn't pick him. Never mind. I'm going back away from that one. I'm trying to go for someone who's at least in their early to mid 30s, no higher than that. Because I agree at least on one point that the actor who plays Batman X should be younger. Because I think you want to pick a Batman who you want to pick a younger Batman so you can tell more stories with him. You want someone who you can refresh and revitalize the character.
Yes.
But I think more importantly, you want an actor who can and will commit to multiple pictures rather than stay around for a couple before he realizes, oh, I'm too old for this shit.
You know what? I'm actually looking at a recent picture of Armie Hammer now, and he has the brunette hair and the close cut, and
you like it?
I could see it. I'm a little more sold because his photographer had the good sense to put him in like black and a black background and got the shadows playing on his face. I'm like, I could see that. I mean, I'd give it a look.
It makes more sense to me than Channing Tatum as Gambit, but I also don't understand why they're still trying to do a Gambit movie.
God damn it! I was drinking. Fuck! Why do I always fall for it?
I wasn't even planning on that one. That was great. Ugh. Man. So yeah, let's talk about this week's movie. Today on our Crisis of Infinite Films, we'll be discussing Batman: Assault on Arkham, released in 2014 and directed by Jay Olivia and Ethan Spalding, and written by Heath Corson. The film features the fantastic voice cast of Neil McDonough, Hayden Walsh, Matthew Gray, Gubler, John DiMaggio, Greg Ellis, Jennifer Hale, Troy Baker, and the real voice of the Bat, Kevin Conroy.
Yes, sir.
No box office info, this is direct to video, but I do have some awards. This cast actually is an award winner cast from the Behind the Voice Actors Awards. Hayden Walsh and CCH Pounder both won for Best Female Vocal Performance in a TV, direct-to-DVD title, or short, and the whole cast won Best Vocal Ensemble for the same category.
Yeah. The star power behind these voices is ridiculous. It's real good, and it's always fun to see Neil McDonough play something like serious. I'm used to seeing him get hit have a jolly old time as Damien Dark on Legends of Tomorrow or some shit. So when he gets to be actual no nonsense and kind of menacing, it's always fun to hear him go off like that.
Mm-hmm. And I was really impressed with Troy Baker's Joker. When I first saw the movie and I didn't look at the credits, I thought to myself, that does sound kind of like Mark Hamill, but not quite. And then when I found out it was just Troy Baker, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then John DiMaggio not playing Joker, but playing a different villain was also a little weird at first, but it wasn't bad. I could take it. It was good.
Mm-hmm. No lie.
Ryan, we have some fun facts here for us. What do you got for me?
Indeed. Well, first off, when Harley goes through the items in the Joker crate at Arkham, among the items she removes is a mask that the Joker wore in the opening scene of The Dark Knight. I caught that, actually.
That's pretty good.
And the Joker fish from Batman the Animated Series back in 1992. So those are great call-outs to the fans there. Now, Joker recognizes Deadshot and said they worked together once. He's referring to the incident where he hired 8 assassins, including Deadshot, by placing a bounty on Batman's head in Batman Arkham Origins 2013. Again, another lovely call out to the game series that's been such a fucking breadwinner for them. I do want to interrupt real quick for context here.
I think I mentioned it in the synopsis, but I do want to make context here. So this movie is tied to the Arkham video games very directly, as with the name, and you can even tell with the art design. And the movie itself takes place after Arkham Origins, as per your point there, And I did research, it is actually 2 years before the events of Arkham Asylum, so we know exactly where in the timeline it takes place, but we'll address that again in a little bit, because there's a point I want to make regarding the squad here soon, but I thought I'd just throw that in there for everybody else to know.
Nice. Right. So, to keep it going, the music playing in the bar above the Iceberg Lounge while the team is outfitting is actually a remix of the Batman Beyond theme. Lovely call out there.
I love that show.
It's so good. Man, I missed that. Now, the world is not ready for a Batman Beyond live action movie, but
They're
God
not.
damn it, when it comes, I will
come everywhere.
Yeah. Moving on, during the fight in the shock treatment room, one of Batman's batarangs actually sticks in the floor in front of Captain Boomerang. This batarang is the same batarang that was included with the collector's edition of Batman Arkham Asylum in 2009.
God damn, all the
I really like these call-outs to the game.
Ah, so good.
Yeah, and of course there are many more references to previous Batman films, including Batman and Robin, Batman Returns, and Batman back in 1989.
I would have listed them all, but that would have been like a million more fucking things. I'm like, let's just round it up. If you want to look it up, go watch the movie. It's actually worth your time. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, they do a really good job of like putting all of these little tidbits in without like kind of flooding you with them. Like they're very subtle, and I feel like subtle Easter eggs like that are a real treat for like comic book fans, and like, because if you like punch somebody over the head like, this is supposed to be Robin, fucking, and shoving people's face in it, then it's just like, okay, sure.
But Ryan, are you saying you don't like it when they shove Superman in your face, holding his arms out and saying, hey, this is Christ and Superman?
I didn't get any of the Christ analogies at all.
Oh, well,
especially when he falls backwards and holds his arms out like he's being crucified. Yeah, no, I didn't catch that.
You need to pay attention to it, Ryan. He is Christ.
You're asking me to pay attention to the DC films. Why? Why, sir?
So, before we get into the synopsis here, Ryan, what are some initial thoughts you have on this movie?
Initial thoughts, I like this spin. I like this iteration of Suicide Squad. There were a couple of moments where the movie wasn't holding my attention that terribly well, but I liked seeing various Rogues Gallery guys get to really do their thing, and I liked the adult slant on the story, because you have a group of convicts doing shit. Yes, of course, like they're gonna get into some questionable shit, and I like that the movie didn't really pull its punches with that.
Mm-hmm. Unlike some movies that did pull their punches, if you know what I mean.
Fucking PG-13. I'm sorry, we'll get to that.
What's funny is this is PG-13, and it still was like, I'm gonna be edgy as fuck.
Yeah, it was flirting. It was flirting with that PG-13 rating. It's just like, how far can I push you? Will you let me do this? Will you let me do this?
For me, I think there's an inherent flaw with the concept of the Suicide Squad, at least with what we've been presented in both films. But I think this one does handle some of that a bit better. At the same time, I think that the live action also handles a few things better than this movie does. I'm not saying that either one is better than the other yet, but I do think both films have their strengths and weaknesses, and I cannot wait to discuss them in more detail.
I'd agree with the second point you made. I'm interested in talking about the first point you made later on.
All right, here we go. What do you get when you put together a Soviet, a shark, an archer, a ninja, a drunk, a clown, and a snow woman all together? You get the next iteration of the Task Force X, designated to kill Edward Nygma, well, secretly, for his crimes of pissing Amanda Waller off. Talk about allocating government money for personal use, am I right? Set 2 years before the events of Arkham Asylum, the video game, the task force is sent to Arkham itself to obtain a thumb drive from the Riddler's cane, with a secret side objective for killing Nygma for bonus XP. After some colorful back and forth between characters at the Iceberg Lounge, including dart-throwing penis contests and the topless Harley Quinn, the crew infiltrate Arkham Asylum, through different entry points. They run into Joker along the way, more on that later, and they accidentally set off a yellow alert which Batman picks up not long after. The team break their way into the confiscated property holding to retrieve the data, but Batman shows up to give them what for. In the scuffle, it seems Black Spider has defeated the Bat, and Killer Frost has gone and found Eddie for that delicious bonus XP. But what a twist! It turns out Nikema has a target on his head because Waller can't kill him with the bomb in his neck. Why? Because he knows how to disable the bombs in members of the task force. Immediately, abandoning all allegiance to Waller, the task force follows Riddler to the medical bay for a quick brain flossing. Electroshock. To disable the bombs. An escaped Joker finds them and it is revealed that Black Spider is actually Batman, having infiltrated the group. Who could have seen that coming? The task force is kind of dissolves here, and it is more or less every man for themselves. Joker takes Harley and reveals his dirty bomb in her mallet. He threatens to basically nuke all of Gotham. Batman goes to stop him while the Joker deals with Deadshot, who has offended him by sexing up Harley. But Joker is beat and possibly blown up. Everyone but Deadshot is apprehended, and the bomb is neutralized. Batman warns Waller to stay away from Riddler and from Gotham, or she'll answer to him. By God, I'll get you. Waller tries to act tough, but but then gets a bit of a threat from Deadshot just before the credits roll.
I honestly like to think that Amanda Waller just straight died there. Like that's my dream. That's my dream ending.
That would have been the way I'd end it. So Ryan, what do you think of this movie?
Like I said, I really, really enjoyed it. I don't think it shied away from the inherent edginess of the group being, made entirely of fucking convicts. That makes a lot of sense. I think this matches up closer to what the iteration of the Suicide Squad should be. And I think it's primarily because in this one, it's not showing how Amanda Waller gets to actually set up and gets authorization for creating Task Force X, but rather Task Force X is her own project that she oversees, and nobody can really tell her shit. So while on the books, it's supposed to be a black ops operation that she can use to take care of big things that require some secrecy or separation from the heroes, in reality, Waller gets to use it like her own private task force because that's what it is.
Yeah, but I want to point out the flaw here real quick. So, both this movie and the live-action movie, which we discussed, both of them have a very similar setup. Basically, the setup being that Waller has formed the task force. One of the members of the task force kind of doesn't agree with her and goes against what she wants, and so to clean up her own mess, she has to reassemble the task force or make a new task force to clean up said mess. And I'm sorry, but I just am a little annoyed that is the plot for both of these movies. I get that they're different. I get it's different in both of them to an extent, but when you break down what everything is, when you get down to bare bones, that is essentially what this is.
That's fair. I appreciate the difference. I really appreciate the difference because with the live action, the task force is assembled to deal with it gets authorization to deal with stuff because everybody's spooked about Superman, and then on the first major metahuman issue, they get dispatched to take care of it, and then only after they're in the field is it revealed, oh shit, it was actually Enchantress, and then it becomes, oh shit, Amanda Waller has to clean up her shit. Which is really not a great look for the very first fucking mission for the Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. But it makes more sense if Waller has actually done this time and time again, and she's assembled and used this task force a bunch of times in the past, and now she pulls it out of her back pocket because these are her own private commandos that she gets to do whatever the fuck she wants off the books because she's earned that clout. It makes sense that way.
And while I pointed it out, I will say, like I said, this one is less problematic because it still does a covert operation, i.e., they infiltrate Arkham rather than, oh, hey, let's have a bad action movie downtown somewhere.
Yeah.
So I will give this movie a little bit of credit, but again, I just feel the bare bones, both of them are on the same skeleton. They just have different kinds of meat on them. That's what it
That's
is.
fair. That's fair. I think this is a little more well built than it's in the other iteration.
Well, and I think, and I'm going to point this out next week on the Wonder Woman movies, because I think I've already got a thesis for that one. But in this one in particular, I think that this iteration of Suicide Squad is more character driven, whereas the live action movie is a little more plot driven. You know what I mean? Or do you think I have that backwards?
So that's very interesting. I think the overall drive of the stories you have correct. The live action is more plot driven, and the character and the cartoon is more character driven. But I think that the live action has better character development, and the cartoon has better plot development. Really, really odd, but you just brought it up and I realized the truth in it.
I could see some wiggle room, though. I think that it's a hard comparison, because I think both iterations of Harley Quinn we get here are starkly different, but at the same time, both are also valid and very interesting.
Yeah. Both are definitely valid, but I guess the comparison that I'm making is that you see more work done specifically on those characters and their individual stories in the live action, whereas the driving force of the cartoon is the characters and how they would react to the situations. The plot in the cartoon moves forward because the characters are who they are, as opposed to in spite of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can back that up. I can agree with that. Speaking of Harley Quinn, I do have a quick question here for you, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck has Arkham not changed any of their security passwords since Harley Quinn went crazy?
Honestly, I don't fucking know. I
have to change my password at work every 3 months for no goddamn reason. What the fuck is Arkham doing?
I feel like that slipped Batman's notice, because if Batman knew that shit, he would come down so hard on the people at Arkham. What the fuck are you guys even doing?
No, Batman has to know this. He has cameras watching everyone's shifts. He knows who's scheduled and when they're supposed to be scheduled. You see that in the movie. He should know the passwords.
I don't think he knows the passwords.
Oh my god.
Passwords.
That's one of the biggest plot, dumb plot moments in the movie. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no. Essentially, my immersion can't handle it. If Batman knew the passwords and then knew that they did not change them, it would break this. It would break my immersion for this Batman. And I really like this Batman, so don't do that to me, okay? I really, really like this. I really like Batman in this cartoon.
Batman's badass in this. It's just, God, that's such a bad plot hole to have in there. It's the only major one, too.
It is. I wholeheartedly agree. Y'all definitely should have changed them passwords by now.
Ugh. Fucking Harley Quinn. Goddamn. Okay, so...
Yahtzee!
That was cute. I like that. Okay, so... this is stylized after the Arkham games. If you look at Joker and compare his design to the Arkham games, you'll see that it's very similar. You see Scarecrow's costume is the same as the Arkham games, etc., etc. Do you like this art style in animation? Or is it more of a video game thing, and then why or why not?
I didn't have a problem with it. I pretty much liked it. I think the only thing that I wasn't as on board with was Deadshot being in all black. I think that's the only thing I didn't really dig.
His costume was a bit bland, yeah.
Yeah, his costume was a bit bland and really bulky. I want to say it was pretty bulky.
He was as pretty bulky himself, though.
He was bulky, and that's another thing. When I think of Deadshot, I personally think of as a muscular yet averagely built man with ammo packs and shit on him, because it's all skill. He's not super fucking strong. It's all fucking skill and wit. Now, if you had like Deathstroke built like that, maybe. But like the super bulky Deadshot, I wasn't a huge fan of. But aside from that, I thought the art style made the transition very well. I did.
Yep, I was actually very surprised that it did, because I know that art style. So we both played the games, obviously, and I think the video games look stunning. I mean, they aren't like they aren't like the HD 4K masterpieces you'll see nowadays, even though I don't think that is necessary. But they had a unique style and a unique animation to them that definitely looked good, played good, and just felt good. And it did. To see it go from 3D to 2D, it's impressive. It's impressive what they were able to pull off with this.
Now, question. I felt that Batman in the transition, if they were keeping to the art style of the games, looked a little like, I won't say lanky. I'll never call Batman lanky. But I think his design was a little more streamlined than in the Arkham games, because the Arkham games, he looks fucking swole. Like he looks like a swole, tall dude who can also move like a ninja, and in my opinion is like probably the best iteration of Batman I've seen on screen. In this one, they decided to streamline his design a little bit and make it make it closer to the stuff we see in like Justice League War and like the more recent animated series from DC. What did you think about that choice?
Well, when you brought that up, I thought I'd go ahead and Google search some images to compare him to the other movies and compare him to the video game cover, just out of curiosity. And yeah, seeing him, because it has a side-by-side here of his look between Arkham Asylum and Batman and Son of the Batman or something like that. And I could see I could see the similarities. I think because I think it's the same team, or at least using some of the similar people who do the other DC animated movies, and I think they're trying to keep a consistent style. There are a few differences though. Like I think in Assault on Arkham, he's missing a part that usually covers his chin for the other movies, and it looks like he's got a bit more stubble than he does in the other movies as well. So there are some differences, but I can see where you're getting the design similarities from.
Yeah, it was it just struck me, and it didn't even like actively strike me. It's just when you brought up the art style, and I really found myself thinking back to when I saw it. I was just like, you know what? That is interesting.
Yeah, it's a good thing to talk about, especially when you're talking about animating Batman when there's so many iterations. It's fun to kind of discuss what iterations worked, which ones didn't. I still think, visually speaking, the animated series from the 90s, it's a kind of consistently dark theme for a kid's show, and I think that still just looks the best of all of them.
100%, yeah. Like not in terms of cutting-edge technique, but just an overall feel that it achieves, and consistency throughout the fucking multiple seasons that it ran.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of shows can do that. X-Men. I'm gonna
just calling them dudes out, huh?
I'm gonna call out the X-Men cartoon when I can, because it had some good seasons, but then the fucking 5th season shit the bed, man. Holy crap.
Good lord.
Okay, so going on from that, so we discussed you brought up Deathstroke. Yeah, that one. So at the end of Arkham Origins, this is gonna be for everybody listening. So at the end of Arkham Origins, Amanda Waller approaches Deathstroke post credits, I think, or at least during the credits or something like that. And she says to him, "We have a special assignment for you, and it has something to do with like Task Force X or something like that." So she's assembling the task force at the end of Arkham Origins, basically, and Deathstroke is basically being asked to lead it or be a part of it. So I guess the question I have for you is, knowing that, Ryan, are you a little disappointed Deathstroke didn't show up here, or are you kind of like at least glad to know there's a little bit more backstory to it that we might see someday?
I'm okay with Deathstroke not being in this one. No hatred towards Deathstroke whatsoever. I absolutely love him. In fact, I think if he was in it, he would have taken the show. It would have been Slade versus Batman, and that's really all we would have been dealing with. So I'm glad that Deadshot really got a chance to shine, because if Deathstroke was here, then I think we would have missed over all the fun Floyd Lawton stuff that we usually get with Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would like to see a Deathstroke movie at some point.
100%. Yes, sir.
But I think this definitely was not going to be the case. So I guess going off that vein of thought then, would you prefer seeing Deathstroke facing Batman, or would you prefer him facing off against the Titans? I grew up knowing him with the Titans, so that would probably be my pick.
Yeah, that would be my pick too. Fucking Slade, man.
He's a good opponent for Robin. Like he
really
good.
is.
And
I also love the fact that while Slade is their antagonist, you always feel like Slade is trying to teach Robin.
It's so good.
It's just so subtle, and it's such great storytelling, guys. Why do we have Teen Titans Go? Stop it! Okay, I'm sorry. That's it. That's my rant.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Okay. Is it 2 more questions I have on here? It is. Okay. Three more. Number 1. Without Killer Croc, who do you think the team MVP is in Arkham Assault on Arkham?
Shit. Well, it's gotta be that Black Arachnid guy, yeah? I mean, he killed the fucking Batman.
He took out Batman in like 10 minutes. It was great.
He did it!
Actually, I gotta admit, the reveal when they found out it wasn't Batman, when he wasn't Black Arachnid, and you saw him blow up in Batman's suit, that was great.
Okay, so I'm coming back to this question. I am, but I just have to make this aside. This is the smartest Batman that we've seen in a good long while on the screen. This this movie honestly made me feel like, yeah, no, he is the world's greatest fucking detective. He's looking at it as like, wait, no, that guy works Thursdays, not Fridays, and so does that guy. Fuck, they're playing yesterday's footage. Something's going on at Arkham. Let's go do this. And I'm like, yes, that's 100%. And then he gets to be a badass and fights the whole Suicide Squad. And then he thinks, you know what? I need to find out exactly what these guys are. Let me take one of them out and then assume his identity and then go see what the fuck is going on.
And of course, he takes out the one that was perfect for him to take over, too.
He even like perfectly mimics his goddamn voice. I'm like, what, bruh?
See,
what are you doing?
This is what I've wanted for a Batman movie for a while. I want someone who's a spy, who's a ninja, who's a detective, who is this super smart, very clever, crafty person all in one. I don't need a muscle-bound idiot. I need someone who can like actually go and take down villains with his wits, not his fucking fist.
Yeah, this Batman, this is the guy I see running with the Justice League. Who is not only amazingly skilled and has a bunch of tech, but is also a fucking ninja, but is also a fucking detective who can think through shit. Like, yes, that's Batman.
I'm gonna one up you, Ryan. Compared to Ben Affleck's Batman, I know it's a bad example, but compared to most live action Batmans, this is the Batman I could see actually taking down the Justice League, whereas all the other Batmans wouldn't be able to.
Right, very much so. As much as I love Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale's Batman, nah. He's great, but no, he can't take out the Justice League. Not him.
And I'm not that Batman fanboy who says Batman could take on anybody. If you've seen Justice League Doom, y'all know what I'm talking about. He's got a plan for every member of the League. I could see this Batman pulling off all those plans if he needs to.
Yes.
Ben Affleck, Christian Bale, even fucking Michael Keaton. I love y'all, but none of y'all can do that. I am sorry.
Yeah. It still remains that the greatest iteration of Batman Bruce Wayne that we've seen has always been animated. I have not seen a live action Batman that has beaten the animated Batman in my mind. Mm-hmm. And it's understandable because Batman is such a ridiculously good character that finding a person that can embody all of those things, like in real life,
it's really tough.
It's real tough. It's real hard.
And it's tough to make a costume that you can move around in that's good enough for that.
Yes. It's difficult, guys. Batman's hard to do. Like, a lot of people end up getting a couple of things about him right, and we applaud that, and we should, because the stuff that they get right is really, really good. But if you want, like, the for real Batman that does all of these things, yeah, you're gonna have to go to comics or the cartoons.
Well, it reminds me of a scene from Under the Red Hood, the cartoon, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. Yes. There's a part where they're chasing down the Red Hood, and Batman's got him on the ropes, like quite literally. He shoots a grapple at him, and it gets around Red Hood's leg. And Red Hood cuts the cable. And the first thing Batman asks Nightwing, which I love, because, again, it harkens back to the detective stuff. How many blades do you know that can cut my cables? It's like, that narrows this list down of suspects to, like, a small amount. That is fucking great.
Yes, and then they start looking at the fact that, if you look at the footage, he's actually going for his knife before the grapple hits. It's almost like he knew that's where you were going to shoot. Oh, fuck! Who the hell is that? Yes. Oh my God. We will discuss Red Hood at a later time. I'm going back to the question like I promised. Okay. MVP of the squad. I hear you. For real, I'm gonna give it to my boy King Shark. I'm gonna give it to him. He's lovably dumb. He like his character concept is fucking ridiculous. He actually has a moment where he contributes to the plan where he's like, you guys should use the footage from yesterday.
That was great.
I'm like, yes, he had a really good idea. Give him that. And the shark bait pairing is so delightfully odd that I was fine. I dug it.
So King Shark and Killer Frost.
Killer Frost.
It's such a weird combination, but it works in such a beautiful way.
It did.
I love it.
Who's your MVP?
I almost want to say Riddler because he's the one who kind of saves them from the bombs in the first place.
Fair.
But he's not really part of this squad, so I can't give it to him. But he gets an honorable mention.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, man, I don't know. I guess I'd have to say Deadshot almost, because he's the one who actually gets out of the situation in one piece, not getting arrested again, and even has Waller in his sights. Like, no joke, that's impressive.
Yeah, like, he undoubtedly won at the end. He's like, yeah, I'm free. I got my daughter over here playing with her dolls while I take out this bitch who tried to kill me. Yeah, life's good for Floyd Lawton at the end of this movie, so I appreciate that.
Also, I want to say, too, shout out to Captain Boomerang for once again being shit on at every opportunity. It was fantastic. It's like the writers of these movies know that he's a stupid character, so we're just going to use him as the dump bag for everything.
Like, it's a Boomerang, V. Come on, son.
So you brought up Sharkbait, which I gave the name for the pairing, but what do you think about Harley and Deadshot?
I thought that was really... It's flirting with that line between interesting and odd. I don't necessarily think it added to it. I think you could have done the exact same. I think you could have done the exact same storyline without them actually hooking up. But so I don't know what exactly it added to it aside from the fact that, oh hey, this is a little more edgy because we have these two fucking now.
well, it adds to it in a sense that it gives Joker reason to hate Deadshot, and it gives more conflict to that final battle because otherwise Joker has nothing with Deadshot at all. And
but I think Harley could have alluded to it and still gotten the same result.
So you're thinking they could have hooked up, but they didn't have to show it.
No. I'm thinking even if they didn't hook up, as soon as Harley saw Joker, she's like, I'm going to make you fucking jealous. I've got this guy now. Fuck you. Like, even though it didn't even happen. And Deadshot would have been like, what the fuck are you even doing? Stop. And
that could have been an interesting way to take it, considering her very unhinged nature. It
Right.
would have actually been well within her character. So I think either way could have played out fine. I think the way they did it was just for titillation, probably, then.
Yeah, and that's, like, ultimately why I find it a little more odd than weird. It didn't detract by any means.
Oh, yeah, no,
it didn't
naked
really
Harley Quinn
add
never
anything.
detracts.
Right, of course not. Like, don't stick your dick in Crazy Floyd. it's challenging, especially when she's just in your bed. But dude, that's fine. It's fine.
I mean, she's playing the Manic Pixie Dream Girl card. I mean, how can Floyd say no?
Yeah, it's fair. But like I said, I definitely don't think it detracted, but I don't think it added anything special to it, because I think what it ultimately achieved could have been done by other means as well. So
yep. Final question here, Ryan, and I think I already know where you landed this one, but just for clarity's sake here, how do you compare the use of Joker here to the live-action Squad movie? And also, what about Batman? How do you feel about how these two were done compared to the live action?
I 100% love it. I 100% love this. Having Joker as ultimately your main villain, even though we had to go through a couple of hoops to get there, having Joker as ultimately your main villain's great. It's always great. You can't really go wrong with that. I think having the Suicide Squad kind of operate in the middle between this extended showdown between Batman and the Joker was really, really interesting, because they operated kind of in between. You had Batman on the peripherals trying to figure out where the fuck this bomb was. You had the Joker being pissed because Harley was with Deadshot, and then everybody kind of collided, and Batman and Joker had to kind of go through the Suicide Squad to really scrap. And I liked that. That was a very interesting way to take it. So I definitely loved the use of both of them in this one.
I love the idea of parallel stories and layered stories. I think this is a good example of that. You have Batman's story parallel to the Suicide Squad, and it stays like that until the third act, when they intersect like whole hog, and they become like one thread that just intertwines into some complete mess. And not a bad mess, but like it's just utter chaos once Joker's out and once Batman's there to try to stop everything. And it's beautiful how it turns out. It's not as like well. I don't think the parallel story happening here is as well done as something like, say, Last Airbender, but that's also a fucking like long-ass series building up to that, so bad example. But still, this is really good, and I wish that Suicide Squad, the live-action movie, had taken notes from this to be like, hey, you know what? We have Joker and Batman doing their thing in the background that kind of impacts these guys, and maybe these guys kind of get involved with it later, and that would have been really cool. But
then you'd have to pay Jared Leto and Ben Affleck more, and their rates are high.
Ben Affleck for sure. I'm not sure about Jared Leto. I guess he probably would be. I don't.
Yeah,
I haven't,
not as big as Ben Affleck, but Jared Leto's up there.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's everything I've got on this end. Is there anything else you want to discuss about this particular movie, Ryan?
No, I just really like how they did Batman. He wasn't even in the movie for that long, and when he did, he just showed up and was a fucking G. I just love it.
Well, if y'all want to tell us about your favorite moments of Batman, or want to tell us who you'd cast as Batman, you can always send that information over to our Tumblr page, Twitter page, or Facebook page. And I think we even have an email. Ryan, could you look up in the computer, what is that email?
Yes, that email is bringbackspanishspice@gmail. Oh shit! I'm sorry. That email is evacstation@gmail.com.
That joke's never gonna get old.
It really won't. It was so good.
So yeah, evacstation@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys on these topics. Really, honestly, who do you guys want to see as Batman? I'd love to do a whole podcast just on that alone, because that'd be fun.
Ooh.
Let's see, is 48. What do you think, Ryan? Do we have time for a quick triv?
We can do some quick ones, sure.
All right, so going back to my Suicide Squad movie, let's discuss some trivia for Suicide Squad. Once this loads up, here we go. So question... Oh, roll the music, roll the music. And, okay, we're good. So, Ryan, question number 1 here. First introduced in Brave and the Bold number 52, what year did the Suicide Squad / the Task Force X first debut?
You said it debuted in the Brave and the Bold?
Yep, number 52.
Shit. Oof. Fuck, I'm really bad with years. Uh,
I mean, if you want to start with the decade and then narrow it down, we could do that.
Fuck. Shady government teams that operate outside of what have you. I might say 1960s, maybe?
You are very close. It's actually 1959.
Really?
Yep.
One fucking year. Oh, so
You were right though. It was definitely post World War II. I mean,
yeah.
So you were in the right area, I think. All right, I think you'll get one of these names down, but let's see who you can get. Who are the original members of the Suicide Squad?
Oh shit, dude. Oh god. I'm gonna guess Floyd Lawton. I'll say Rick Flag was probably in there because he sounds like a fucking 1959 name. Yeah, dude, honestly, I can't think of anybody else that would be in the original cast.
To be honest, Ryan, I wouldn't have either. Your members include Rick Flag,
Yes.
Karen Grace, Hugh Evans, and Jess Bright.
Who the hell are those three?
I have no idea.
At least I got Rick Flag. That's fine.
Got the important one. This is a little easier for you, Ryan. Who are the most current iteration of the Suicide Squad at this time of recording? And that's per Wikipedia.
They probably pulled it like for the movie. So I'm gonna guess Rick Flag, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Harley, Killer Croc, and Katana. Yeah.
The answers I have, Ryan, are Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, Enchantress, Harley Quinn, Katana, and Killer Croc.
Ah, fuck. I forgot about Enchantress.
Yep, I would have too, actually.
Well, I mean, she was the fucking villain. She wasn't a part of the suit. Nah, never mind.
All right, I have 4 more? We'll see. Next one. In the live-action film, Ryan, what notable character is Harley Quinn noted to have killed?
Well, it said that she was an accomplice to the murder of Robin, which they keep fucking dancing around. So I'm gonna go with that one.
Yep, that's correct.
Yes.
Let's see. Where and when was Harley Quinn's first appearance?
Batman animated series, 1992.
Fucking right on.
Fucking blew up, and they had to put her in the comic because she was so awesome and well received.
I think there's another character from the animated series that also made the comics after her. I don't remember who it was. It was one of the detectives, I think, actually. And they also updated Mr. Freeze to go after the animated series because he got such a good upgrade from the animated series. Holy shit. Fucking jewel thief going to a sad, scientist. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Per the comics, what is the story behind Deadshot's incredible accuracy ability?
Oof.
I found this one very interesting, actually.
Oof. I am not sure about this one. I don't think I've ever known Deadshot's origin story. You're going to have to give me that one.
So, to make it very short and concise, he shot his brother by accident trying to save his father because his brother was apparently hurting his dad or attacking his dad, and so he shot his brother by accident. He was trying to just disarm him, instead he ended up killing him, and he vowed to never miss a shot again.
Okay.
Alright, and the last one, I think this is actually the most interesting one. Name one non-supervillain to join the squad in the comics history. I just need one.
Wait, I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Name one character who's joined the Suicide Squad in comics history who is not actually a supervillain.
Who is not actually a supervillain?
Yep.
I
have a short list of 4, but I also have Wikipedia, the full list of characters. So if you give me one that I don't have on my short list, I can look it up.
Doesn't Batgirl join the Suicide Squad at one point? Barbara Gordon?
I will give you the point. She goes as Oracle because I think she's still paralyzed at the point, but yes, she does join the squad.
Ah, damn. Okay, she was on this Oracle. Damn. Barbara, I'm so sorry, Barbara. Fuck.
But that is good. That's a good call. The other three I have notable here are Sergeant Steel, Unknown Soldier, and Power Girl.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
Power Girl.
is it Red Lantern Power Girl?
I can look it up real quick and see.
God, Red Lantern Power Girl is just like stupid. It's just like so good.
I don't think so, because she joins the squad at the same time as Hawkman, Star Spangled Kid, and Wildcat.
Okay.
So I think they're all still like their usual selves.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, so that was a fun one. I actually kind of like that last one. All right, and so that's a trivia. We're going to go to the final segment here, where we compare the movie's live-action animation. Who wore it better? So, Ryan, you want to start us off? What do you think?
Sure. I think the willingness to actually press the boundaries and to be more edgy, along with having a, fucking coherent vision for the movie from start to finish, I think I definitely have to give it to the animated Assault on Arkham 100%. Not only do I think the Suicide Squad makes more sense in this setting and works better as a team, but we also got to have more Batman and more Joker, along with a bunch of other Batman staples in the movie as well. 100%. Although I will shout out to the live action film, because the character work that they did for Deadshot and Harley Quinn in that movie was top notch. I think that definitely beats out the animated version, but I still think the animated version wins out overall.
I'll weigh in. I will say that the animation wins out for me as well, but it's a very close contest, and not because the animation's bad or that the live action's good, but because they both, like I said, both have their strengths and weaknesses. And I think that they almost balance each other out a little bit. That's what I'm saying. So in the animation version, it's got more consistency, and you don't fight a bunch of big poo monsters in a downtown setting, but the live action does have some really good cinematography. It has some really good music stuff going on here, and the acting's actually pretty solid. I don't know if it's better than the voice acting of the animated movie, but it is some really good acting nonetheless from at least the leads. And then what else did I have written down here? Let's see. And I think in terms of character, I think the animation just wins out overall, because I think the characters are a little more interesting overall. I think that the movie is definitely more character-driven, and that they make active decisions to make that story move forward versus what Suicide Squad does, where the characters are definitely interesting, but they're dragged along through the plot instead. Yeah. And yeah, I think that there's just more agency in the animated work, which I'm all for it. Characters' agency, especially when they're bad guys doing cool stuff, that's fun. So at the end of the day, I'm going to have to go with Batman Assault on Arkham. I went the long way around to talk about it, but I had to get my points in, so. just a little bit.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, that is our Suicide Squad week. Next week, we are going to do a movie that is unquestionably good. Because we both have talked about it before, Ryan. I think we both like it already. But
yeah.
Will it hold
Spoiler alert.
Will it hold up against the animated movie? We're going to find out.
We will find out, because I haven't seen the animated version yet. So it'll definitely be interesting to compare.
I actually just watched it yesterday to get myself all ahead of the game, so I know what we're up against, and I'm not going to spoil it. I want to hear your thoughts before we get to it. So. All
right. Let's see it.
Yep. So again, you can go down to Peepa, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and all that stuff to follow us and review us. More reviews help us get noticed. You can also go to Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr to talk with us there. You can also email us at evacstation@gmail.com. And also subscribe to YouTube. That'd be great. And Patreon.com, if you can't review it, if you don't want to review us, at least throw a couple bucks our way. We'd appreciate that. Helps keep the lights on, helps keep the show going. And Ryan, am I forgetting anything?
No, I think we did the rating, so yes, we did it.
Yep. So then we'll see you next week for Wonder Woman. Get that guitar.
Thank you, Jesus.
Get the guitar riffs going while we go out. See you after the credits.
Bye.